In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down to you how I was able to pay for college and not get a student loan. Now, this may work for some people, this may not work for others, but I thought I would share this anyways so that I could help out anyone who is going into college very soon. First off, I would just also like to say that I don't use my college diploma, and I never will, and it was basically a waste of money. And I knew that going into my final year there. And yeah, so that's just my story. Usually, in a lot of cases these days, college diplomas are a massive waste of money. You should probably wait a year or two out of high school to be able to figure out what you really want to do with your life and basically work, invest, and be able to save up enough money to be able to pay for college. Now, this is not what I did. I went to college straight out of high school, and I just basically paid. Back then, my program was $10,000 and altogether, and now that same program, which is now about 10 years later, is now about a $50,000 program. So does that make any sense at all? Especially considering that the job, what it was an EA, educational assistant, and they basically make close to minimum wage here in Ontario. So it doesn't make any sense. Let's check out what I did. So you're probably wondering, why is there a price list with all of these different metals on it? Well, guess what? My first year of college, my first half year was paid by the savings that I had from cutting my grandmother's grass. And then from there, I needed to figure out how to pay for college. Obviously, I had a job at the YMCA, but that wasn't giving me many hours. And I needed to find something else. I didn't want to work a job. I wanted to run my own business. So what I did was I scrapped. I would go out on garbage day and I would find scrap. I had a 2001 Mercury Cougar, and that's what I did. I actually did this for a very long time. I even did it after college because it paid not bad, really, to be honest with you. If you could figure out the times as to where the scrap is going to be, if there was like a once a month scrap day in your city, you could go around if you have a big enough vehicle and you can collect a lot of scrap. Now, don't go out and just collect the garbage. Don't collect the coffee pots. Don't collect things. Microwaves are okay if they're the steel body, but if they're the plastic body, stay the heck away from them. Grab things that actually have very little to minimal plastic. And then you can basically break them apart and they take them to a scrapyard and they'll pay you. Literally, TVs used to be my favorite because you could go out and get a 32-inch Sony TV that would weigh 150 pounds, and because the Sonys were just stupid weight, and they were, I think it was like 5 or 6 cents a pound back then, and you could get $5, $7 for a TV, and bang, there's $5 or $6 in your pocket, and that covers your gas, and everything else is profit at that point in time. This is the reason why I have a 2009 Ford Escape. It's because even after college, when I was working at Best Buy, after I got back from the States from basketball, worked at Best Buy after my knee surgeries, and I bought an Escape mainly because it had a lot of room where I could store stuff in there so I can then take it to the scrapyard. And these prices add up really quickly. And what I really also like to do was the batteries. Now, if you go and get like AA's, AAA's, things like that, that's the that's the price that you would be going and getting for AA's, AAA's, and things like that. And then there's batteries by piece, and that is like car batteries. So if you can go and say to a mechanic's shop, which is something that I did once, and I said, hey, do you have any car batteries? I will pay you $5 per car battery. And I was able to get 3 car batteries from that mechanic. That then turned into a $15 profit when I took them in to get exchanged. Now, back then, I think it might have been $15, but if it was $10, then I made $15. If it was $15, then I would have made $30. But either way, I remember only paying $5 for those batteries. For the batteries by weight, what I would do is I would go to some smaller electronic stores, and then I would say, hey, like, do you have a battery recycling thing, and do you mind if you have some batteries in there, do you mind if I just take them off your hands and I'll recycle them for you? And some of the smaller electronic shops will actually do that. So if you go to your college that you go to, and you could say, hey, like, do you have any AA batteries that people are recycling, and I can recycle them for you, because that way I can kind of pay for college, and you be straight up with them, like, this is what I'm doing. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, sure, go take the batteries. And I actually got, it was like 15 pounds worth of AA's, so that worked out really well for me, because I think it was around the same 30 something cents. At 15 pounds, you just say, let's say 30 cents times 15, you're now looking at some pretty good money. You're looking at $4.50 for basically a couple of seconds worth of time walking to your car after class. I even got to a point where I was like, well, I drink pop. Right now I'm drinking Diet Coke, Cherry Coke. And from there, each one of those cans, I think I equaled it out to be about 45 cans per pound, I think it was, if I remember correctly. This is a while ago, maybe 50 cans per pound, and it ended up being about a penny per can. So right there, if you're drinking, like, let's say 20 cans of Diet Coke a month, then at that point, you've just made yourself 20 cents, even though you already paid for it. But why just give it to the government to get free recycling, and when you could just take it in a bag, crushed up, and they take it and they give you a couple of cents for it. So this is some of the ways that I was able to make money to pay for college. And yes, this is not a clean type of business to run, but you could actually make it pretty legit. So for example, up here in Canada, we have a website called Kijiji, and I never posted anything on there saying, hey, I'll pick up your shit for free, your stuff for free. What I would do is, people who say, well, who wants to pick this up for free? I'm getting rid of it. And I would get a whole bunch of stuff. I got a furnace once. So that's just this is one way that you could pay for college and not really have to go find a job or have to go and deal with management, because in this type of business, even though it's just something that you could do on the side, there's no management. You don't have to worry, and it's just so much easier working for yourself, in my opinion. But yeah, this is something that I did occasionally after college, and something that I did every single day in college, and it's just easy. And then if you're walking by the recycling place in your college, and I did this once too, where I said to the caretaker person who was working, I said, so who can I talk to about taking all of this metal? Because there was shelving units that they were getting rid of, and I said, is this just going into the garbage? And he said, yeah, we're just throwing it away. And I said, well, you know what, I'll take it. And I ended up making like $100 of steel that day. So that was just me leaving school saying, there's an opportunity, there's a $100 bill in my pocket, and I didn't do anything other than backing up my car and saying, load her up, guys. So it was not bad. Also, if you're ever going through or past a construction zone, and always look for signs that say free. Because I seen this quite a bit when I was coming home from Best Buy when I used to work there. There was a lot of construction, and they were doing a whole bunch of stuff, and there was signs that said free. At the end of the day, they would put up a whole bunch of garbage that they would finish with for free, and sometimes there'd be 2x4s, things that you couldn't scrap. But there was times where they had copper pipe, and they had like 3 or 4, like I think it was like 10-foot long copper pipes, and I was like, you guys seriously putting this in the free pile? And the guy's like, yeah. So I got a crap ton of copper pipe. I kept one, I scrapped the other 2, and I think I ended up with like $40-50 or something like that, worth of copper or something like that. And that was just me driving home, decided to stop and see what was for free, and I ended up with $40 in my pocket, and still like a 10-foot copper pipe in my garage, because someday it'll be probably useful for me to do something. So either way, it's either there to scrap someday or it's there for me to use someday. So yeah, this is one way that you can make money, and an easy way to really make some money on the side. I hope that you've enjoyed.